Free of spoilers. Anything I talk about is either on this poster or in the trailer. I promise I'm not giving anything away. There is so much to unpack here, and I can't remember if Courtney Cox is on TikTok. I think she is, but in the snowball's chance in hell that she sees this, please don't hate me. I will be sad forever. Okay, let's talk about it. If you've never seen Scream, we're in movie 6 now. Just go watch the first one and work your way up. I can't explain anything without giving anything away. I mean, it's a Scream movie. It meets almost all the criteria to be a Scream movie. It's not exactly winning an Oscar. I don't know, I still have beef. First and foremost, the big thing they were advertising for this movie is that we're no longer in Woodsboro, we're in New York. That's great, but it wasn't important. The only time the fact that we're actually in New York comes into play is Gail's apartment. And that was like one scene. We could have left it in Woodsboro, we could have gone up to LA. It wasn't really necessary to make that a big part of advertising. Another thing is, I feel like they were trying to go with some kind of central theme, but it wasn't quite hitting, or at least it wasn't hitting for me. I might just be stupid. And this was in the trailers, by the way, which is why I'm going to talk about it. You have your culprit collecting memorabilia from the other Woodsboro tragedies. I feel like we could have gone in the direction of people who are obsessed with serial unalivers. Y'all know what I mean? The type of people who walk around with like Ted Bundy's mugshot on a t-shirt, buys Jeffrey Dahmer's glasses on eBay kind of thing. Like, it was an okay storyline. I just feel like it could have been fleshed out way more. Now on to my big beefs. I am not big on Samantha as the final girl. She doesn't have final girl energy. So I know she was final girl, quote unquote, in Scream 5, right? And I remember loving Scream 5, but I think my wires got a little crossed. Got me questioning whether or not I actually liked Scream 5 now, because I really dislike Scream 4. The story for Scream 4 was fine, but I don't generally like Emma Roberts. I find it really weird that everybody forgets about the whole domestic dispute thing with Evan Peters, where allegedly she beat the shit out of him, and everybody seems to forget that. Now, it could have been a mistake, or I could have, maybe it was a lie in the magazines. I never saw another update on that, so as far as I know, that's the last of what happened, and I'm not okay with her ever since. Anyways, that's why I didn't like Scream 4, but I swear I loved Scream 5. And I think maybe it's a mixture because I hated Scream 4 and I wanted the nostalgia for Scream 5 that I loved it. But then I get into this one and I'm not digging her as a final girl. She doesn't fight. So comparatively, Sydney and Nancy are Wes Craven's own written final girls. So Sydney from the original Screams and Nancy from A Nightmare on Elm Street are Wes Craven's original final girls. Samantha is very much so what do we do now? I feel like everybody has to help her out of her predicament, while Sydney and Nancy were both kind of forced to fight for themselves. They had to. That's not to say they didn't get assistance, but they were able to think on their own. I think Wes Craven was a little low-key feminist. Also, I think her saying Billy Loomis' ghost is dumb. I think it cheapens the whole idea of Scream. Scream isn't meant to be a supernatural horror. This is your average, ordinary, everyday people who decide to become serial unalivers. Hell, 99% of what makes Scream so much fun is trying to guess who actually did it, and knowing that it's going to be one of the people we've seen. Once you introduce the supernatural element, all bets are off and you're not going to be able to figure it out. My third huge beef, and this is going to be quite controversial, is the lack of open carry, or a concealed carry. It doesn't matter which. Gail, seriously, you've survived this 5 different times. I very much appreciate her dedication to being responsible with the safe. However, once everything started up again, it should have been the logical reason to either open or concealed carry, depending on New York state law. And we're talking, she's probably had about 20 years of firearm management by this point. I think she is safe to do either. Also, with Sam being terrified and having a triple lock, I don't understand why she didn't have any kind of self-defense weapon that didn't involve close contact. I'm not saying it has to be a firearm. Not everybody's okay with that. I'm just saying find a bat, a chainsaw. Aren't cattle prods kind of long? Maybe a 9-iron, crossbow, can of hairspray, and a barbecue lighter. You get my point. But in the words of Sydney fucking Prescott herself, I'm Sydney fucking Prescott. Of course I have a gun. And finally, we need to talk. Gail, it's been 20 years. The only people calling your home phone are the telemarketers and the serial killers at this point. It's time to let it go. Okay, the end.